Hello guys, we are back again with another video on our channel. I know it's been quite a while since we have posted any videos and we are very sorry for that. But from now we will post videos regularly on our channel. And as you know, this channel is mainly dedicated to commerce related topics. So today we will discuss about the basics of accounting, or we can say fundamentals of accounting. So let's begin. The first question that comes up to our mind is, what is accounting? So basically we can categorize accounting into four parts. First is bookkeeping. What is bookkeeping? According to J.R. Bartleby, bookkeeping is an art of recording business transactions in a set of books. The initial step of accounting is bookkeeping. So bookkeeping is the process of identifying the monetary transactions and then recording of all those financial transactions of the business into books of accounts. Bookkeeping is often confused with accounting, but it should be remembered that bookkeeping only involves identifying and recording of financial transactions in the books of accounts. And accounting means to prepare and present the accounts to know the results of the business. Now comes financial accounting. Financial accounting is also termed as accounting. The American Institute of Certified Public Accountants define accounting as an art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transactions, and events which are in part at least of a financial character, and interpreting the results thereof. From the above definition, we can say that accounting is the process of identifying, measuring, recording, interpreting, and communicating the results of economic events of a business. Thirdly, cost accounting. According to the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA), cost accountancy is defined as application of costing and cost accounting principles, methods and techniques to the science, art and practice of cost control, and the ascertainment of profitability of information for the purpose of managerial decision making. In other words, cost accounting is related to accounting for costs. It helps to ascertain and control costs of products and services. It involves classification, recording, allocating, and estimating current and future costs. Lastly, management accounting. What is management accounting? The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA) has defined management accounting as the process of identification, measurement, accumulation, analysis, preparation, interpretation, and communication of information used by management to plan, evaluate, and control within an entity and to assure appropriate use of and accountability for its resources. Management accounting also comprises the preparation of financial reports for non-management groups such as shareholders, creditors, regulatory authorities, and tax authorities. This branch of accounting opened up only in the 20th century. It is related to the presentation of accounting information in a manner to help the management of a business to formulate its policy and to discharge its day-to-day activities, making the best possible use of its economic resources. Now, what is accounting cycle? Accounting cycle is a complete sequence of accounting procedures which are repeated in the same order during one accounting period. Normally, a cycle means the occurrence of recurring events in a particular sequence. In accounting, different activities are repeatedly involved for identifying transactions, classifying or summarizing them, and recording them. So, an accounting cycle exists among these different stages. So the first step is to identify the transactions of financial nature to be recorded in a subsidiary books. The second step of accounting cycle is recording of journal entries. As soon as a transaction happens, it is recorded in a journal. Third step is posting entries to ledger. All journals are then posted into ledger chronologically. Fourth step is preparing trial balance. After taking all the ledger accounts closing balances, a trial balance is prepared at the end of the period for preparation of financial statements. Fifth step is posting adjustment entries. All the adjustment entries are to be recorded properly and adjusted accordingly before preparing financial statements. Sixth step is preparing adjusted trial balance. After posting adjustment entries, an adjusted trial balance may also be prepared. Seventh step is posting of closing entries. All nominal accounts we need to be closed by transferring to trading account and profit and loss account. Last step is preparing financial statements. It is prepared to exhibit the true financial position and operating results of the business. Now we're going to discuss the basic accounting terms that we use in the accounting process. First is transaction. Any economic activity of a business which changes its financial position in terms of changes in values of assets, liability, or capital is called a transaction. In other words, transaction means an event or a business activity which involves exchange of money or money's worth between parties. Example, purchase of goods. Second, goods or service. Goods are tangible article or commodity in which a business deals. These articles or commodities are either bought and sold or produced and sold. Services. Services are intangible in nature, which are rendered with or without the object of earning profit. Third is profit. Profit is the excess of revenues over cost. Fourth, loss. The excess of expense over income is called loss. It could be calculated for each transaction or for business as a whole. Fifth is asset. Assets are the economic resources of business, or we can say assets are the property owned by the business to get benefit in future. Assets can be classified as fixed assets and current assets. Fixed assets are those assets which are acquired for the purpose of increasing profit earning capacity of the business and are not purchased for sale purpose. They will remain in the business till the business winds up. For example, land and building, plant and machinery, furniture, etc. Current assets. Current assets are those assets which can be converted into cash within a short period, say in 1 year. So these assets are kept for a short term for the purpose of converting them into cash. For example, cash in hand, debtors, stock, bank balance, bills receivable, etc. are the current assets of a business. Sixth is liabilities. Liabilities are the claims against those resources, or liabilities are the amount which a business owes to outsiders or claims of outside towards business. Seventh is internal liability. Internal liability represent proprietor's equity, that is, all those amount which are entitled to the proprietor, example capital reserves, undistributed profits, etc. Next is working capital. In order to maintain flows of revenue from operation, every firm needs certain amount of current assets. For example, cash is required either to pay for expenses or to meet obligation for service received or goods purchased, etc. by a firm. The whole of current assets form the working capital of a firm, which is termed as gross working capital. There is another concept of working capital as well. Working capital is the excess of current assets over current liabilities. That is the amount of current assets that remain in a firm if all its current liabilities are paid off. This concept of working capital is known as net working capital, which is a more realistic concept. Next, contingent liability. Contingent liabilities are those liabilities which are not a liability for today, but it may be a liability in future depending on the future events. They are uncertain liabilities, so that why they are contingent or doubtful liabilities. For example, guarantees undertaken, cases pending in the court, value of bill discounted, etc. Capital. Capital is that part of wealth which is invested in the business for further production. Or we can say initial investment to start a business is called capital. Next is drawings. Goods or cash withdrawn from the business by the owner or proprietor of the business for personal use is called drawings. For example, if the owner of a business pays fees of his children from the business, or he takes furniture from the business for his home, then it will be called as drawings. Debtor. Debtor generally take place due to credit sales. So debtor is a person who owes money to the firm. For example, goods worth rupees 2000 are sold to Mr. A on credit, then A will be the debtor of the firm because he has to give money to the firm. Creditor. Creditors generally take place due to credit purchase. So creditor is a person who has to take money from the business. Capital expenditure. When the expenditure incurred is for the purpose of acquiring fixed assets or for the improvement of fixed assets, then it is called capital expenditure. For example, expenditure incurred for the purchase of furniture, machinery, etc., or amounts spent on the erection of building. As these expenditure give benefit over a long period, so are shown in the asset sides of balance sheet. Revenue expenditure. When expenditure is done to get full benefit in one accounting year, it is known as revenue expenditure. These expenditure do not increase the earning capacity of the business, but are done to maintain the existing earning capacity. Revenue expenditures are shown in the debit side of trading or profit and loss account. For example, purchase of goods and services, payment of wages, etc. Balance sheet. It is the statement of financial position of the business entity on a particular date. It lists all assets, liabilities, and capital. It is important to note that this statement exhibits the state of affairs of the business as on a particular date only. It describes what the business owns and what the business owes to the outsiders. This denotes liabilities. And to the owners. This denotes capital. Profit and loss account or income statement. This account shows the revenue earned by the business and the expenses incurred by the business to earn that revenue. This is prepared usually for a particular accounting period, which could be a month, quarter, a half year, or a year. The net result of the profit and loss account will show profit earned or loss suffered by the business entity. Trade discount. When discount is to increase sales, then it is called trade discount. It is not recorded in the books of accounts but deducted from the invoice itself, from the total value of goods. Cash discount. When discount is given to get an early payment, then it is called cash discount. Cash discount is always recorded in the books of accounts. Next comes accounting concepts. What is accounting concepts? Accounting concepts are the fundamental assumptions that should be followed while doing accounting. So these concepts provide base for accounting process. It should be noted that use of these concepts are compulsory and they are not optional. More or less, they are rigid and cannot be changed. Following are the concepts of accounting. First comes business entity concept, or we can say separate entity concept. According to this concept, business and businessman are two separate entities, and all the transactions in the business are recorded from the point of view of business and not from the point of view of businessman. That is the reason capital invested by the businessman is considered as liability for the business. It means business has to return this money to businessman or owner or proprietor of the business. Second, money measurement concept. According to this concept, only those transactions will be recorded in the books of accounts which can be measured in terms of money. Or we can say money is the common denominator used for recording of business transactions. For example, goods purchased for cash or credit will be recorded in the books of accounts because this transaction can be measured in terms of money. Going concern concept. According to this concept, it is assumed that business shall continue for an indefinite period and there is no intention to close down the business. That is the reason all the expenditure in the business is done keeping in mind that business will go on forever. For example, huge money is spent on advertisement in expectation of future profits. Accounting period concept. Every proprietor wants to know the result of the business, and the actual result of the business can be known only after the winding up of the business. According to going concern concept, business has an indefinite life, so it is a difficult task to know the results of the business due to indefinite period of business. But to see the trend or to have an idea about the performance and profitability of business, total life of a business is divided into smaller periods. This short span of time period consists of 12 months, and this period of 12 months is called an accounting period. Cost concept. According to this concept, assets purchased in the business are shown or recorded in the books of accounts at its cost price, or we can say actual price paid to acquire that asset. So, it will not be recorded at its market value. Market value may change with the passage of time. It may increase or decrease in future, but all the accounting of assets will be done at its cost. That is, on the basis of price paid to acquire it. Dual aspect concept. According to this concept, total assets will always be equal to total liabilities. Total liabilities include internal liabilities, that is capital, as well as external liabilities, or simply said as liabilities. Revenue recognition or realization concept. Revenue is earned due to sale of goods or by providing services. Revenue recognition concept specifies particular time period in which revenue is received. According to this concept, revenue is recognized in the period in which it is earned rather than received or not received during that period. For example, commission for the month of August may be received in the month of October or received in the month of April as an advance, but it will be considered as earned or recognized in the month of August only. So the commission will be treated as revenue for the month of August. Matching concept. According to this concept, a revenue will not be called as income for the business unless it is matched with the expenses incurred to earn this revenue. It is a very important concept to calculate the correct profit or loss of a business during a specified period. It is necessary that revenue of the particular period should be matched with that period of expenses or costs. It means expenses should be recognized with the associated revenue of that particular period. Accrual concept. According to this accrual concept, a transaction should be recorded at the time when it takes place and not necessarily at the time when the settlement takes place. Accounting conventions. Accounting conventions are generally accepted practices or principles or guidelines which are based on custom, usage, or general agreement. Like concepts, they are not rigid or not established by law. So they can be changed according to requirement but not very frequently. While following conventions, personal judgment also plays an important role. So it is not necessary that different enterprises adopt the uniform conventions. Following are the main conventions used in accounting. First is Full Disclosure Convention. According to this convention, all the significant information related with financial transaction of a concern should be fully disclosed. The logic behind this convention is that financial statements which are prepared at the end of an accounting year from all the financial transactions are only the source of information for its different users like proprietor, management, creditors, government, investors, etc. That is the reason pro forma and contents of balance sheet and profit and loss account are prescribed by the Companies Act. Moreover, if some items do not find any place in these financial statements but are significant, they are mentioned by way of footnote after preparing financial statement of an accounting period. For example, contingent liabilities are not shown in the financial statements but are shown by way of footnote. Similarly, market value of investments, change in the method of valuation of stock, change in the method of depreciation, etc., should be disclosed by way of footnote. Consistency Convention. This convention is followed for the purpose of making comparison more useful and appropriate related to profit and loss account and balance sheet of the same enterprise for different years or different enterprises of the same industry. According to this convention, the policies and methods adopted in one year should be consistent year after year, so that the important conclusion and decisions can be taken about the performance of an enterprise. For example, there are various methods available for charging depreciation on fixed assets. So an enterprise should use the same method of charging depreciation for different accounting period or the different enterprises of the same industry, and working on the same scale should adopt the same method for the purpose of useful and correct comparison. Conservatism Convention or Prudence. According to this convention, business should not be enthusiastic about the future profits but should be conscious about the expected losses and should make a provision for anticipated losses. Provisions for expected losses should be made in advance, whether amount is known or unknown. That is the reason provision for doubtful debts are made in advance. Similarly, closing stock is always valued at cost price or market price, whichever is less. Lastly, Materiality Convention. According to this convention, only material items should be disclosed and all the immaterial or insignificant items should be ignored or should be merged with other items. This convention is contradictory of Full Disclosure Convention. Moreover, an item may be significant for one enterprise and may be insignificant for another enterprise. For example, a table fan may be material item for a small business, but for a very large scale of business it may be insignificant. American Accounting Association AAA defines the term materiality as follows: an item should be regarded as material if there is reason to believe that knowledge of it would influence decision of informed investor. Now let us learn what are the types of accounts. But before that, let us learn what is an account. An account is defined as a summarized record of transactions related to a person or a thing. Example, when the business deals with customers and suppliers, each of the customers and suppliers will be a separate account. We must know that each one of us is identified as a separate account by the bank when we open an account with them. The account is also related to things, both tangible and intangible. Example, land, building, equipment, brand value, trademarks, etc. are some of the things. When a business transaction happens, one has to identify the account that will be affected by it and then apply the rules to decide the accounting treatment. So now that we have seen an account may be related to a person or a thing, tangible or intangible, while doing business transactions that may be large in number and complex in nature, one may come across numerous accounts that are affected. Now please look at the chart that is given on the screen. Let us see what each type of account means. Personal account. As the name suggests, these are accounts related to persons. These persons could be natural persons like Suresh's account, Anil's account, Rani's account, etc. The persons could also be artificial persons like companies, bodies corporate or association of persons or partnership, etc. Accordingly, we could have Videocon Industries account, Infosys Technologies account, Charitable Trust account, Ali and Sons Trading account, ABC Bank account, etc. There could be representative personal accounts as well. Although the individual identity of persons related to these is known, the convention is to reflect them as collective accounts. Example, when salary is payable to employees, we know how much is payable to them, to each of them. But collectively the account is called a salary payable account. Similar examples are rent payable, insurance prepaid, commission received, etc. Second under impersonal is real accounts. These accounts are related to assets or properties or possessions. Depending on their physical existence or otherwise, they are classified as tangible real account and intangible real account. Tangible real account are the assets that have physical existence and can be seen and touched. Example, machinery account, stock account, cash account, vehicle account, etc. Intangible real account. These represent possession of properties that have no physical existence but can be measured in terms of money and have value attached to them. Example, goodwill account, trademark account, patents and copyrights account, intellectual property rights account, etc. The last one is nominal account. These accounts are related to expenses or losses and incomes or gains. Example, salary and wages account, rent of rates account, traveling expenses account, commission received account, loss by fire account, etc. Now let us learn about the approaches to accounting process. There are two approaches, the American approach or modern approach, and the second one is British approach or traditional approach. According to the American approach, there are 5 heads of accounts, that is assets, liabilities, capital, incomes, expenses. For the assets account, increase in assets is recorded in the debit side, decrease in assets is recorded in the credit side. For liabilities account, decrease in liabilities is recorded in debit side, increase in liabilities is recorded in credit side. For capital account, decrease in capital is recorded in debit side, increase in capital is recorded in the credit side. For incomes, decrease in income is recorded in the debit side, increase in income is recorded in the credit side. For expense account, increase in expense is recorded in the debit side, decrease in expense is recorded in the credit side. As per the British or traditional approach, we have 3 accounts: personal account, real account and nominal account. For personal accounts, debit the receiver or who owes to business, credit the giver or to whom business owes. For real account, debit what comes into the business and credit what goes out of business. And for nominal account, debit all expenses or losses and credit all incomes or gains. So that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us till the end of the video. If you have liked the video, please like, share and comment. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Link to our Telegram channel is given in the description. Till then, stay tuned, stay healthy.